Thank you so much. I'd like to welcome everybody. November 7th, right at about 6:04. November 7th, 2017. I call this meeting to order. At this time, I need approval of the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Have it. Tonight, our invocation pledge is Steve Johnson, pastor, Bradley Baptist Church.
Before we go to the Lord in prayer, I want to say thank you to each of you. Thank you for this privilege and this opportunity. I hope that you continue to do the prayer and the pledge. I hope you stand firm on that with this world that we live in. I just want to tell you thank you. Let's pray. Father, we come before you and we thank you for the blessings of freedom. Father, we know that that freedom came at a cost. And Father, this weekend we will remember those that served in this country on Veterans Day. Father, that's the freedom that we have in this country because men and women stepped up. And they said that they were willing to defend our Constitution. They were willing to give us this right. And Father, we ask for a blessing upon them and their families, Lord. And Father, as we come today, we ask a blessing upon those that will sit before this county, Lord. We ask that you give them wisdom, that you give them insight. Father, what better way to start a meeting than prayer? Because Father, only you can give the wisdom that is needed to govern. So Father, this group will never please everybody in this county. But Father, if they do what is right, you will honor it and you will bless them. So Father, we ask for your blessings upon them. And Father, may we just praise you for all that you do. And Father, we like to lift up those that was involved in a shooting in Texas, Lord. We pray that you will touch each and every family. And Father, to be honest, we do not understand. But Father, one thing we do understand. In tragedy, we have someone to hold on to. We have someone that gives us what we need. And that's you, Lord. Father, bless them families. Bless them with your presence. And may we say thank you for being there. For your sweet and heavenly name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you. I got to go somewhere else. I got another meeting. It was an honor.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. We don't have anything on plan and zone. We'll move on tonight. Consent agenda and approval for the minutes. Number 1 is work session, October 17th, 2017 at 5 p.m. Number 2 is a third Tuesday, October 17th. We have number 3 is work session also on October 18th, 2017 at 2 p.m. We had a call meeting on October 18th, 2017 at 6 p.m. and an executive session on October 18th, 2017. Everybody had an opportunity to look at this. If so, I need a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. No more discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We move over to our visitor section tonight. Mr. Stephen Black, you'd like to approach and speak again on your metric road sign?
On this. All right. I would like it so that the board would approve those people who want to pay to have metric road signs put on there. All right. I wrote the state of Georgia letter and asked them which laws were you exempt under the Metric Act 1866, the Trigger Meter 1875, and the Metric Act of 1975. Were you given exemption so it prohibits you from accepting and taking metric data? The letter they wrote me back was, we choose to use the present system because we choose to use it. They didn't give me exemption. And they're not exempted under law. All I want to do is say, okay, you can put this up. And I'll try to be brief as possible on this. Right here. Since Georgia DOT has never been given exemption to any federal law that concerns the use of metric data by a person or group. Number 2, the Georgia DOT cannot cite any legitimate studies that show the use of metric road data will create danger of safety problems such as 1, increased traffic deaths and accidents, 2, reckless or distracted driving, 3, drunk or drug driving, excessive speed. Now, let's say, did they produce any evidence to show this? If they didn't, that means they didn't want you to have it, and they don't have it. Okay, number 3, the Georgia, like I said, I showed Mr. Frank this letter where the state of Georgia never did object once Newton County put these signs up, and about 25 years ago, they were just regular white signs with letter speed limit 88 kilometers per hour. They didn't object, so they set a legal precedent saying we will accept this. Okay, they did it. The by doing this, the Georgia DOT nor the local county taxpayers will have to pay for this. Those people who want them will pay for it. They'll pay for all costs, labor. If it's damaged, stolen, vandalized, all you got to do is put the person's name, a group's name, phone number, whatever, and what the sign where it's put. And you say, you put a notation, these are paid for privately. And you call them up and say, you seen black? Yeah. Well, sign you put on Stagecoach Road has been stolen. Do you want to put it on? Yeah. And you pay for it. All those, and they just will not replace signs. When you go buy a loaf of bread, it has 1 pound, 453.6 grams, or 454. That's not a replacement, that's addition to. You'll have the mile signs will stay up. We're not getting rid of that. Below that, you'll have, well, it will actually be 72 kilometers, but you can round up 70. They've done that in Florida. That's what they do. And
Sure.
they did it in Hawaii. So this won't cost the county 1 dime. They have the legal authority to do this. I can show you the letter. Mr. Frank seen the letter.
Yeah.
They have legal authority to do this.
Mr. Black, I mean, not trying to cut you short, you know, you brought this before the board before, and I did exactly. I went and I talked to GDOT, and I called you back and explained that I actually sat down and told GDOT what your request was, and
They said no.
they said no.
Yeah, but see, that I knew.
And there's nothing we can do because you're state highways and all, and GDOT said you'd have to go to state level and get approval because.
Well, I just wondered that they had to get it from Newton County because Newton County put these up.
Sure. I don't know about Newton County. I did contact GDOT. I talked with them.
Well, I figured this. Well, I figured I'd fight you because I figured that, and I'm not angry at you. I'm just disappointed. Sure. If y'all vote against that, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, we can't vote either way, but I did check for you, and I did ask the question to see if it was a possibility, and they told me, you know, absolutely.
I talked to them before, and I told them I'll pay to put on highway. They told me no.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, I figured this, but I mean, I've been fighting this battle for 45 years, and
I know you're very compassionate about this. Yep.
But I thank you for your time, and I figured there wasn't a big proof, but I understand that.
And thank you for your compassion. Hey, thank you very much.
No problem.
All right, moving on. We have another visitor, Chandra Fort, Children Finance and Technology Expo. Chandra, excuse me.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Just fine. How you doing this afternoon?
I have a couple things to hand out. I have my card for one. Have a copy of the 2 books that are going to be presented. I also have a flyer. So you can pass the books around, look through it. Or flyer. Try to be as quick as I can. I did 12 years in the military, so I kind of can talk without a mic. So I'll kind of start getting into it. I'll give a background on myself first. I did 12 years service, U.S. Navy, CTN. I graduated from Jones County High School, class of 2003.
You were my daughter.
I'm considered a cybersecurity expert. I protect pretty much if you bought a gift card or an Xbox card for your children, if you've done anything electronic outside of a debit card or a credit card, I pretty much protect the information. So that's kind of what I do. I work in the financial industry downtown Atlanta currently. So what I want to do is there's a clear gap in the education for what we need as far as when I'm hiring. So we need to get the start of when you learn about technology earlier. So I think, like you think 20 years ago, no one knew what Wi-Fi was. These are common words now, but the #1 cause of most security threats is actually the end user, which means the people who are checking emails, things of that nature. So I want to kind of get that on the forefront. We're actually doing this in 6 cities. Actually, Gray will actually be the very first one, period. First of its kind, the first ever Children's Financial Technical Expo ever. Like, I mean, you can Google it, I promise. But we're also going to be in Jacksonville, Honolulu, Hawaii, Miami, Suffolk, Virginia, DC, and Denver, Colorado. But I kind of wiggled my way in there, and I kind of threw Gray in there because, I mean, so Gray's going to get the first one. I told him I want to do the first one, so I kind of snuck that in there. But the only need that I want is I kind of already talked to the Board of Education. On the flyer, it says the Knox Center, but we're getting a lot of feedback. 13WMAZ is going to cover it. News 41. Me and the guy who's on the flyer, Prince Dyke, who wrote the books, he's actually going to come down. We probably have about 8 to 10 financial experts and technology experts who are going to come and speak to the children. Everything is free of charge. We're going to give away at least 100 signed copies of these books just to kind of get information. We want to make this an annual event so we can see the growth and deal with the shortcomings of where they're lacking. We're kind of on the forefront of this. I promise you, in 5 years, when you hear this stuff will be basic curriculum for high school students, guaranteed. Cybersecurity is definitely the future. So I'm just trying to get it on the forefront, and that's pretty much what I'm presenting today.
Thank you. Any questions for
Tim, first of all, thank you for your service and thank you for coming back to Gray. I mean, a lot of guys, once you graduate, people don't come back to Gray and don't forget about their hometown. So I appreciate you coming back, and especially when it comes to financial literacy, it's something that's huge and it's not taught in the schools like it should be. So I really commend you for coming back and thank you for your service in the military.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd echo that. You mentioned a lot of feedback, so you were looking at another facility possibly?
What I talked with Mr. Gibson, I was going to say coach.
Right. Yes, I was Coach Gibson.
Kind of weird. He's grown so much, but I talked to him and he's definitely supporting. I went and spoke to all the principals yesterday. I got great feedback. I actually want to go and speak to the children at school as well. So the facility, I'm definitely going to get one or the other, which we haven't ironed it out. Hopefully between now and the next week or so, we're definitely it's going to be held at the high school from my understanding now. So that's a better and bigger facility to get as many people as we can. I want the fire marshal to shut it down. I want to come because the more the better. A lot of parents are going to learn any information in there. There's terms in there that most parents don't understand. So it's portion of it's going to be talking to the children, but also to the parents. It starts with them. Make sure that you understand that you need to facilitate their education and kind of help them get to that next level.
So it's safe for us if I wanted to put this on my Facebook page, the December 3rd date at the W Knott Civic Center. That's okay. That's going to be there.
I would
hold off.
Probably the auditorium.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
I'm going to print out a new one. This is kind of new. I just got my cards in too. A lot of transfer business cards. So I just got those in today. So the flyer, I'm going to update it, and I can bring the updated one. But you can put the information out now. Definitely going to be December the 3rd.
Okay.
2 to 6, the time is correct.
Right.
Try to let some of the church-going people go ahead and get that done. I really work about 80 hours a week, so it's kind of Sunday's like my only kind of off day right now. And you know, when you're dealing with gift cards, this is the time of the season where everybody's buying gift cards. So definitely have a no leave, no time off policy right now at work.
Right.
And I do have to pay bills, so Sunday's like the only day I can kind of slide in there currently.
Right. Like I said, I really commend you and want to help promote this event because it's much needed. It's really needed.
Anybody else? Anybody else? We do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I actually told the principals where I'm staying at now, and it's just not a good time to mention that. But I do stay in Stockbridge. It's not a good time.
That's right. Don't mention Stockbridge, all right?
I thought I was going to get kicked out when I said Stockbridge.
Yeah, you were doing so well.
I'm going to remove myself.
You want the books?
You want your book?
Sport. Yeah.
And just buy a commemorative playoff shirt and you'll be fine.
I got it.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to you or your marketing person. I love the name of your business. Fortified.
Yes.
Mr. Fort. That's Mr. Fort. That's it. Yeah. Great name.
Great deal. That's great. All right, moving on to new business tonight.
Yeah.
Ready? Award of Plan First Designation Memorandum of Understanding, Adrian Wood, Department of Community Affairs.
Number 3
Gonna
is
scratch that off.
visitors not doing that one.
Number 3, what'd I miss?
We marked through it, but didn't.
No, 3's
discuss
not
it.
here, excuse me.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
My bad. Yeah, number 3's canceled. Welcome.
Hello,
Hey.
I am Adrian Wood from the Department of Community Affairs with the Plan First program, as you said. And I am tickled to death to be here because you have been redesignated as a Plan First community. There were you were in the first group of 10 that we designated back in 2015. And as one of the authors of your very first comprehensive plan, I'm tickled to death that we're able to award you for actually using the various iterations of your plan. Because Jones County was the first one in the region, I think that did it in 91. Yeah. So, I'm tickled, as I said, because you do use your comp plan and you've proven it now for the second time to the state. So on behalf of our new DCA Commissioner, Christopher Nunn, I thank you, and I brought you yet another
All right.
suitable for framing to put somewhere. And in January, we will have the official recognition at the Capitol, where you will get a nice little statue to put somewhere, and have a picture made with the governor.
All right.
And so, congratulations again on doing it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here is your suitable for framing. I have another.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, how are you? There is a memorandum of understanding that is just standard that goes with the Plan First designation that we need authorization to sign and submit.
I need a motion for authorization to.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Second.
Any discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, if I could,
Sure, go ahead.
just one thing that kind of goes along with the Plan First designation, I don't know if people are aware of or not, but when you're a Plan First designated community, you get a half a point interest rate reduction on GFA loans. And so on the GFA loan that we got earlier this year, we were able to get that half point reduction, which amounts to $75,000 to $100,000 in savings over the life of the loan. So this is a program that has very real financial benefit to us, in addition to ensuring that we go through the appropriate planning steps and that type of thing. And there's a very real financial benefit to it as well.
Appreciate it. Tim, I see you back there. You want to add anything? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but we thank all the hard work, everybody. Thank you very much.
Adrian, have a donut.
Yeah, we have a donut.
Thank you. Thank you.
The donut lady's still here, I think. All right, thank you very much again. If we're ready to move on, ordinance to number 2, probate court contract for probation services. Judge Green, who's got that?
Judge Green was not able to be here tonight, Mr. Chairman, but he sent the proposed contract to Jason and to me a month or so ago. As the board knows, the probate court of Jones County contracts with a private probation company to oversee the probationers who come through that court for different offenses, mostly traffic offenses and a few others. But the legislature last year enacted some changes would have to be in effect by the end of this year. In prior years, the probation company contracted with the court, and the county had to approve it. It was a 3-party contract, but this year we have to have the governing authority, and since we're talking about a county court, it would be the county. If it were in the city, it'd be the city. The contract is really between the governing authority and the probation company, with the court agreeing to it. So that had to change, which is not anything, but there's nothing substantive about that change. But they also limited the term of it to 5 years. In the past, it was unlimited, but we can get out of it at any time upon 60 days notice. If there's for cause, we can get out of it upon just telling them and giving them 1 day notice if we have to. But anyway, we need that contract renewed, and if the board sees fit to do it. Judge Green is very satisfied with the company he's been using, and he recommends staying with them. And we just need to execute the contract. And we need 2 duplicate originals done tonight, so it's going to be some signing for you if the board approves this, so you might want to wait after the meeting.
Sure.
Initial a lot of pages and sign quite a few too.
So is your recommendation also to the
Yes,
board?
sir. Yes, sir. I've read it and made a couple of tweaks here and there, but I think it's in good shape.
Okay. Attorney Childs has made his recommendation. I need a motion on that part.
Boom, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second. If any more discussion, if none, all in favor, aye.
Just a quick question. What do we pay for the service?
We don't pay anything.
Okay.
If the offenders pay monthly fees, and that comes back to the county.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Now, all in favor, aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Ms. Risner, I think this is the next one. Your ordinance to amend Article 4, Section 2-142 of Code of Jones County pertaining to purchasing ordinance 201711-10, first reading.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This is the ordinance that we've talked about a time or two in work sessions now, and after the last work session, I went back and just made. I think there were just 3 small changes there based on the conversation in that work session. I added some, if you look on page 39 of your packet, under C1A, I added a little bit of language there related to purchases that involve vehicle or equipment repair. I think that was one of the areas where we had some discussion, and I just added some language there about making every effort to attain an approximate cost through a diagnostic assessment, and then where that's not possible, the department head would still create a purchase order before the repair work begins, and then amend the value once the repair cost is determined. So I added a couple sentences there. Then over on page 40 of your packet, underneath the chart, I had the sentences basically said we assume no liability if a purchase is made without following the established procedure. And then the chart was updated so that the minimum of 2 written quotes starts at $1,000, and I think the previous version had that starting at $2,000. So from $0 to $999 can be done with 1 oral or written quote. From $1,000 to $49.99 is a requirement of 2 written quotes. Above $5,000 and up to $10,000, the requirement is 3 written quotes, which is basically consistent with what we have now. And $10,000 and above is a formal bid or RFP process, and that's again consistent with what we have now. So.
Sure. He's presented the first reading of this. Any questions, comments at this time? All right. We won't be able to take any action until the second reading. At that time, we can vote to adopt. Is that correct? Attorney Child? We need to wait to the second reading before we can?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. No more on this one. We appreciate it, Mr. Risner. We'll go forward. Number 4 on new business, award bid for 6 2018 Dodge Chargers for the Sheriff's Department. You got that also?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Part of the 2015 SPLOST is money for law enforcement there. The Sheriff's Department has traditionally used that to buy 6 Dodge Charger vehicles each year. And as you know, they had submitted a request a few weeks back to bid that out. So we've gone through the bid process. We got 5 responses. The low bid was Landers McClarty Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, which is actually out of Huntsville, Alabama. The low bid unit amount was $20,240. The total bid amount was $121,440. There was some discussion last time about the the Georgia state contract and the amount that we could get vehicles through the state contract. Aiken Ford is actually the one that you go through for police pursuit vehicles under the state contract, and the price is just a little over $22,000. The standard, the base state contract price. So we're actually saving a couple $1,000s per vehicle by going through this bid process. The Sheriff's Department has reviewed these bids, and their recommendation was to go with the low bidder, Landers McClarty, at $121,440.
Any questions for Mr. Resner on this bid?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Resner. Number 5 on new business. Ready? Award bid for Masseyville Road WTP upgrade improvement.
Good evening. Based off our meeting last month, we're asking the board to award the Masseyville Water Treatment Plant bid to All South Constructors, contingent upon change order number 1 being executed. The base bid was $1,542,600. With the base bid, the contract would be reduced to $1,374,727.
I'm not complaining. How do we get a reduction?
Did not need the SCADA panel as we originally thought.
Okay.
We're going to be able to use the existing generator we have, not to change the controls a little bit.
Okay.
We had a chemical feed deduct, and we made some changes in the building.
Okay.
Which the total changes was $179,873. The addition for them to install the county supply generator was $12,000. So we ended up with a net of a reduction of $167,873.
Very good. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Ingram? If none,
So moved.
we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll leave this, the change order number 1 is in there, and the notice of award.
Okay. I don't need to sign nothing on this.
Yeah, so you don't need to sign them, and I'll pick them up Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, I'll sign them before you leave here.
Okay.
All right. We fine. All right. We're going forward to number 6, FTA 5311. FY18 Transit Operating Agreement T006175. Is this you, Mr. Resner?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This is the operating agreement between Georgia DOT and Jones County for our transit service. This is a program where we cover half of the cost of the service. The other half is paid through this operating agreement, and so the total amount here is $150,966. Our portion is $75,483, and we have budgeted funds to cover that. So my recommendation to the board would be to approve the agreement that's before you.
Okay. Is any question from Mr. Resner on this?
How does this compare to last year? It was a reduction, wasn't it, a little bit?
The reduction is because the budget last year was like 155 and the budget this year is 150.
Yeah, I knew there was a slight decrease in cost, so.
Okay. All right. Any more questions? If none, need a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Number 7 on new business, Water Department, part-time water plant operator position. Mr. Pelkey, is this, or who's?
I can start off.
Sure, absolutely.
And Jeffrey can fill in if that suits you. Okay. Going back sometime, the board might recall discussing a situation we have in the water department where we have an individual that works on a contract basis right now. We've talked about moving transferring. He really functions a lot like an employee. So talked about moving him from working on a contract basis to being an actual employee. Going through the budget process this year, we did put money for that in the salaries line item as opposed to in the contract labor line item where it had traditionally been. And so at this point, we're coming to the board asking for you to approve the creation of a part-time position using that money that's already budgeted.
Any questions? Do we have to advertise this that we're, to make it?
You do not. No, sir.
Okay, I didn't know if after we made this motion, if we have to advertise our position. Okay,
You can if you want to, of course, but you don't have to.
I just question. Any more questions from Mr. Resner? You have anything to add to it, Mr. Pepin? Oh, thank you very much. Now I need a motion to go forward with this as a part-time position.
Motion to approve.
A motion?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion of none? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Ready? All right, number 8 on our new business is Georgia County Commissioner's Day at the White House. I've got Commissioner Kitchens, but I also see that Commissioner Pitts also had some information you had put on her.
Go ahead. I think all of us got the email from ACCG and NACO where they have invited us, and I don't know of in history where they've actually had a Georgia elected officials day at the White House, and it's an opportunity to actually get some one-on-one time with local commissioners in Georgia at that federal level to voice any concerns, get some feedback, and I think it's an opportunity to get in front of them. I don't think you get invited often to do something like that, and I just wanted feedback from the other commissioners if we have it in our travel line items, if that's something that other commissioners are interested in.
The date's actually the date of our only meeting of December, so it couldn't be, if somebody, we couldn't all go. Had to, maybe if we had a delegate go on our behalf, but any discussion? Questions?
I'm going to move you meet in December.
So 3 have to be present to hold a meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because I would love to go, and I'd love to participate via conference call because I haven't done a conference call this year. So if that's acceptable,
I think you have to have 3 here,
okay,
physically, and then you can have up to 2 others on the conference call.
So we can do a conference call.
I think we gauge interest of what the commissioners want to do, and if we want to go, then we discuss whether to change the board meeting to a different night. That's pretty simple. But
I really wanted to go to the White House so bad. You got to cut my grass or rake my leaves or something, and I'll trade out with you.
Then we have to reschedule our meeting because Mr. Chairman.
We've got to reschedule the meeting.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Robinson, what's your thoughts?
I'll be here. I'm telling y'all, it's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trip.
That's a trip. Oh, it's a trap.
It's something we want to do some more research on, get some numbers.
From my understanding, I think each one of us do have an educational travel budget, and as long as we use those funds from that account, I think it's acceptable for us to go. Right now, you can fly to Macon on this Contour airline. That's going to save money versus flying Delta and flying out of Atlanta. And I think it's just up to each commissioner to understand once you spend your education training money, then any additional training that you're participating in, it just has to come out of your pocket. So as long as each commissioner has enough money in their budget or line item and they'd like to participate, I think it's only fair. And at that point, we just consider another date for our December meeting.
We got one staying here. We got 4 can go.
You want to go, Mr. Chairman?
I told them if I can save money, fly right seat, I'd take co-pilot up there. I don't think they'll let me do it. It was an offer anyhow. I think it's consensus for us when to go and want to stay home.
So you want to cancel the?
Record leave for us?
No, that is that.
So you're also asking to cancel the December 6th meeting. I'm okay with that.
And I guess our proposal would do it on the 12th, the second Tuesday, if that's acceptable with the board.
That's,
That's the Christmas
that's the Christmas parade.
Okay,
we're all in.
okay.
Cancel December meeting.
Oh, we already canceled the second.
We gotta have one.
Oh, dang it.
So we can move it to another night, not necessarily on a Tuesday, not Wednesday, but we can do it on,
What about that Thursday?
when will we be coming back?
I will be back Wednesday, the 6th. Go up Monday and come back on the 6th.
So we could actually do it that Thursday then.
You could do that Thursday.
Okay. What?
I have something that Thursday evening, so if the board accept, and I understand I'm not asking for everybody, but
You better check myself. What we do before we got to die? I think life was a lot easier.
Just wing it.
What's the 19th? I know we canceled the 9th, the third Tuesday meeting. I know we
Thursday
canceled
the
it.
7th.
Are you off that
Thursday
week?
the 7th. I'm good.
Okay.
How you want to do it?
Which I guess I got started.
Gonna move the meeting to the 7th on December, and 4 of us go up there.
I was joking. He can go in my place. I'm good. But you still needed a third, so.
So you're not
Oh,
going?
no.
All right. You should.
He's still short a person. I mean,
You're right. So
December
this
7th,
meeting
we're
has
good.
to be scheduled.
What about Friday first?
Whoa.
Yeah, because I would like to be at the meeting if at all possible. The board can will accept another date.
Friday, you talking about on December, right, the 1st?
I will not
Yeah,
be
I'm
here for
good.
that one.
So the
You're not gonna be here?
Commissioner Martin won't be here.
But y'all can have the meeting without me. It'll be okay.
I would like to be here. Go ahead. Excuse me.
I was just saying, y'all can have the meeting without me. It's okay.
You gonna call in? Maybe we can do it.
No, I will not be available on that day. It's a special day.
And then you
Could be flying out in the 4th.
fly on the 4th.
You got 4. Y'all be fine.
How about the 8th?
I could do it Friday.
It's on a Friday, December 8th. Good with me?
Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. I appreciate the board for changing the date. You'll be fine that day.
All right.
So December 8th.
December the 8th.
Yes, ma'am.
December the 8th.
There's no.
They need the clerk to go along. I think it is a great opportunity for us to
6
go up
o'clock
there and
on Friday.
I think Sam made mention of this. You don't get these invites very often. You take advantage of them if you do. All right. Any more discussion on that going forward? We'll go with 9. Request for proposal for concession services. I've had several calls inquiring about opportunities to quote on our Parks and Rec concession. I don't think we've done it quite a while. I think it's a great opportunity. So we've got the new concession stand going and all. We need to look at it to see where we're at, make sure we're going the right direction with it. I think we need to put it out for proposal to see what is out there to make sure we are getting the best we can, best returns we can for our investment. Matt, would you like to comment on anything?
No, I mean, I'm fine with it. All we're gonna do is like we did last time is, the reason we haven't bid it. We bid it in 2013 under a 2-year contract, which took it through 2015. In the contract, it said that if all parties were satisfied with the service, then it would continue each year until we decided to bid again, or one party do a 60-day notice to end the contract. So that's what we did. So we're in our 2nd year of the extension. We've had no problems, but definitely not against putting that back out for bid. So if we did it, now would be the time to do it, so we could get the gentleman that's in charge a chance before baseball started up in spring, and if he didn't win it, or if they want to get him again.
Sure.
Would we make that contract effective January so it runs
If we have
calendar year?
60 days according to the contract we have.
Okay.
When does the contract start now? Is it a calendar year or is it our fiscal year?
It's in January.
So it ends January and you renew it.
Correct.
So that we wouldn't have to opt out with a 60-day.
If it's on.
I think we would because the way it's worded, that the extension.
If I remember right on that one, you do, even during the first two and a half year term, you can get out on 60 days. So I think this extension relates back to the first one. So I think we do have to give them a 60 day
So it's a
notice. But if you want to do that, you can either
Give them
go
notice
ahead and
now.
give them notice now, just so you'd be free to go ahead and take some more bids. That would be early January, mid-January, something like that, depending on how long it takes. Then you could have that first one go through December 31st and start the next one as of January 1, if the board wanted to do it that way.
So it's a 2-year extension, not an annual extension after
The first one was 2 years, just in this case, it didn't have to be, and then the extensions were 1 year.
It was a 2-year contract, February 11, 2013 to end December 31st, 2015. Thereafter, the contract shall renew 1-year terms unless 60 days notice provided in writing by the contractor or the county. Is where it's worded in the contract.
All right, so they renew on January. So if you don't renew the contract, does it say automatically renew on January 1st?
It says shall renew for 1-year terms unless 60 days notice provided.
Okay.
So I say go ahead and give them the notice, just so you'll be free to bid and take it.
Right.
If that's what the board wants to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any more discussion or question? None. Need a motion to go out for proposal for the concessions?
So move.
Have a motion, we have a second?
And to go ahead and give the 60 days.
And give notice.
60 day notice.
Yes.
Sure. All right, any more discussion? If none?
Go
ahead.
I was just going to say, I would ask Jason to review that contract as well. So going forward, we're prepared, whether it's 60 or 30, and no automatic renewals.
Sure. Okay. All right, any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Business. We got citizen, we got department head. Mr. Lowe, I'll pick on you tonight, let you go first. You got anything you'd like to?
Me and, Jason, today, me and him and Mr. Wendell were talking about the
LMIG.
Yeah, the LMIG. And, we're gonna have some money left over, and we got 2 roads that we would like to pave. And that's, Whitehead Road and Liberty Ridge off of Green Cell.
We've got about, after we had the 5 roads as an alternate bid, and we've got money left over to do them, and we've got some striping left to do. After that, we've got about 68,000 left, and I think the estimates from Mr. Wendell, Whitehead Road 18,808, Liberty Ridge 19,891. Plus, you've got some striping to do on those roads, a little bit, not a whole lot. And so that'll get us up close to that 68,000. In talking to John and Wendell, if we have anything left over beyond those 2 roads, there's some additional striping around the county that needs to be done. So I think the request to the board, and I don't know if y'all want to do this tonight or if you want to add it to a future agenda, but our request would be that the board authorize us to do Whitehead Road and Liberty Ridge, plus additional striping with our remaining 2017 LMIG funds.
I don't know if we need to put it on the next meeting or we can handle it tonight.
Our procedure would say, don't vote on anything that you don't have on the agenda.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll put that on the next agenda, and we'll have to put it up for bid because it's over the bid amount, correct?
Well, I was going to ask, based on the funds that you have available, dividing it up by district, if there's another road that we can pave in our respective districts, I'd like to use part of that excess in my district to do that.
Have you got a road in mind right now that's needing some?
I got one. I got some calls on already.
I thought we agreed to base it off of needs. Are these the next two on our priority list, or?
That would be the next question.
So I think, and John, you jump in on this, but I think part of it is a need thing, and then part of it is we were trying to find a project where the scope would fit the available dollars, and so.
But they're on our list. What I don't want to see is just arbitrarily pick a road that would fit the money, because then we've taken away money, because that money can roll over till next year.
That's right. Sure.
And start with number 6, 7, 8, or wherever we are on our list. So I think that's how we might have gotten out of whack in the past.
Okay. Well, Commissioner Martin, what road have you got in mind they'd like to look at?
You know what? I'm going to default to what we agreed to with the road list. Let's go to the road list and see what's there. And then if we can add some roads, then let's do that, based on the ones that we've knocked off.
Sure. I'd like to get the worst out of the way and just not pick and choose, trying to fill
Fair enough.
Fill a boot. Okay. All right. We'll put that on the next agenda.
Okay.
Yeah. If they're on our list, they're on down the list, but they'll fit in the dollar amount, then you can move them up the list based on that. But if they're not on the list, we need to put them on the list and based on need.
Okay. The other thing I was going to mention, public works related. Sorry, I'm not trying to steal John's thunder here, or his part of the meeting, but we also met and talked a little bit today about 2018 LMIG, and this is just food for thought for the board. With our available LMIG money, the 2018 LMIG money, we have two big road projects that are high priorities. One of them being Comer Road, and Gerald Plantation is the other. And really between those two and the striping there, it would eat up most all of the LMIG funds we have available. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there as food for thought. At some point we'll come back to you and ask for formal approval of 2018 LMIG projects once we get through these 2017 things. But just food for thought for tonight, and y'all think on that, and any feedback would be appreciated there.
So Jason, if you don't mind, will you send us maybe an email of the roads list? We kind of get an idea of what's out there and an estimate of what it may cost to do each one of them.
Yeah. And I'll add to that, I think that this needs, and I know John's probably going to hate me for this, but this needs to be an ongoing list of what our needs are based on the roads in our community. I mean, a road inspection, and that would tell us a lot of things. The shape of the roads, the shape of the right-of-ways, the shape of the embankments, if we got erosion coming in, if we got trees coming out in the roads. I think that's, one guy inspecting these roads lets us know all of our issues at one time, not all they just, potholes in the road, but do we have tree issues, encroachment issues?
Yeah. Any more discussion on that?
You're welcome.
You got anything else, Mr. Lowe?
That's it.
Mr. Pelkey? Okay. How's the water department going?
Doing well.
Very well. Mr. Matt?
Yes, sir. A couple things. One thing going back, I just came to mind. We talked about getting the 60-day notice. If we get the 60-day notice, I don't know if our current vendor will or won't win the bid, but that will end his concession in the middle of basketball season. So that's back here. So I don't know how we need to play that out.
I would say basketball concession is relatively light. Nachos, I think I remember. It's not like baseball where it's full on and you've got, a whole bunch of inventory and staff in. Basketball is light. I think there's one individual, Gatorades, and the hardest thing might be hot dogs and nachos. All right?
No, I'm not arguing with you.
Okay.
I'm saying, but we go from offering to offering nothing.
Yeah. I think we'd be okay with that. I would, personally speaking.
Well, yeah, and you should have it where one contract ends and the next one starts. There might be a day or two of swap overs, but
I just want to throw that out there.
Sure.
The other thing is this weekend we had a big Gray Bowl football in the 18th. We hadn't seen a bunch of little kids playing their hearts out. Somehow Saturday, Sunday we'll have probably 7 or 8 different counties come in playing football Saturday, Sunday at the ballpark. Next weekend we're hosting our first District 6 football tournament.
All right.
Be us, Baldwin, and Washington County. was our district championship, being held here. So that's exciting. First time we've held a district football tournament. And don't forget, this Thursday from 11 to 1 is our employee appreciation luncheon, so please come out. Rain or shine, we're gonna have it. So please come out from 11 to 1 and be a part of the employee appreciation luncheon.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, thank you very much. More department head. Moving on to citizen comments, we got Mr. Kelvin Williams signed in for Jones County Youth Football League. Would you like to come forward?
Hey.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am here to petition the Board of Commissioners to disband the Jones County Youth Football League Board of Officials. Reason being, there's a lot of ongoing issues that are occurring on the fields with players, parents, board members. So I'd like to present this petition to the board. On this petition, there are, I believe, 18 signatures, 15 signatures with an additional, I believe it's 11 signatures online. But before presenting this, I'd just like to say, I myself have gone to the board for a situation that happened with my son. Nothing was resolved. I didn't hear back from the board, no phone calls, no nothing. I in turn went to Parks and Rec. Again, same issue, no phone call, no nothing. So this is why, and I've heard several parents within the league say, hey, this isn't right. I've been on the field when I've seen things that have happened that should not have happened. I myself was involved in an incident with a board member because of some not so good play. My son was hurt on the play. I approached the field, checked on my kid, and the board member, he's been doing it all game, this, that, and the other, and so we got into a verbal confrontation. But that's neither here nor there. The ultimate goal is to disband this board because of the unfair practices. There's things that are happening that should not be happening. A lot of parents are scared to come forward because they don't want their kid to be the outcast. At this point, it's not about me. It's not about my kid. It's about the 120 other little boys that are playing out there on that field. The numbers are down from just looking at it from last year. The numbers are down. We had 4 of the really little guys. I think they're the rookies. We had 4 teams in that league. The next league up, I think, only had maybe 6 teams. The next league up had only 6 teams. And the junior league only had 4 teams. For as many boys as I see running around Jones County in the various elementary schools, just in the elementary schools that are interested in playing football, that's not good. And a lot of it has to do with what's going on the board. So I would like to submit my petition to the board. I'm not sure who I submitted it to.
Chairman, you have to get the board off. Any board members got any questions for Mr. Williams?
I think I just asked Matt and kind of go over with the board, what type of oversight do we have over each one of the association boards that are over football, baseball, basketball, so forth and so on?
This issue?
Well, just in general, over all of them.
The only oversight that I've been given since I was hired was if a kid's been neglected or abused, or, look into fraudulent activity when it comes to their money. But other than, that's it. Other than someone not liking the way the rules are interpreted or the officials calling the game or this, that, I've never had any authority to intervene with the board's decisions on how they run the league.
Because somebody like the board to consider giving Matt some more oversight over, you know, some practices that are taking place with the different associations. If something's brought to his attention, then he should have the authority to, you know, bring about some changes if he finds that there's some neglect or somebody's not being treated fairly.
And I spoke with Mr. Williams at length one day, and I made some phone calls to the board, and waiting on it. They said they were going to email me their statement of what happened from their side, and they haven't got it to me yet, but I'm waiting that before digging back with Mr. Williams.
Just out of curiosity, have you had a number of incidents this year?
The only, Mr. Williams, the only other one I have was right here recently with a coach was upset because he didn't get to be the All-Star coach.
Could I address that? Is that okay? Can I address
Sure, yeah, I'd be glad to give you, you know.
I'm not sure which coach you're referring to, but I was privy to a conversation on the night before the voting took place, and I actually witnessed the conversation happen. Just being a coach, a former coach, a parent, whatever the case may be, but in that situation, or in any situation, when you have coaches like that, in that league, that coach actually won the league. Okay? Mm-hmm. I listened to a conversation saying, well, they're going to vote him out. Nobody wants to vote for him. Nobody likes him. That shouldn't be the case. He won the league fair and square. Mm-hmm. And I was there at the game. I saw him win the game, and I also heard that conversation. I also witnessed a board member talk to my son's coach to try to get him to sway his vote for them to vote him out. That's the same night that I started this petition. That's where all of this stuff is arising. The language that's being used, you know, to some of the kids is inappropriate. The way that, I mean, I'm no financial guy, I'm no genius, but I can tell you this. It's 2 weeks after the season. Mm-hmm. Our team hasn't even received their trophies yet. Mm-hmm. The thing was, well, we're going to wait and to see who wins the Super Bowl before we give out trophies. What does that have to do with all of the other teams that have already played? You know, these guys, my son was finished, their team was finished on the first night. They were at the bottom of the barrel, you know? So they were done the first night of playoffs. It's been 2.5, almost 3 weeks since they were done. They can't even have their team party because they don't have their trophies.
Sure.
Now, I mean, just to me, it would seem like, okay, the teams that, as they're falling, they get their trophies because the trophies should be made up at the beginning of the year. The Super Bowl should have nothing to do with who gets the trophy.
Sure.
If you want to add, you know, hey, Super Bowl champions, in all honesty, that should be a separate trophy. You know,
sure.
I'm sure that there's enough money within that budget for those guys. Trophies aren't that expensive, so they should get the trophy if they win the league. They should get their regular little trophy. They win the Super Bowl, they should get a Super Bowl trophy. Mm-hmm. They don't win the league, they get a regular trophy. Mm-hmm. And if they just so happen to win the Super Bowl, they get a Super Bowl trophy. That, I mean, those are nostalgic things that little boys and little kids, you know, they look upon those kind of things.
Sure.
You know? So I don't think it's fair that those kids have to wait a month and a half to get a trophy.
Understand.
You can't even honor the coach for the time that he spent out there with those kids because they don't have their trophies.
Right. Well, we definitely thank you for coming forward. And like I said, we've got your petition. Like I said, you know, Matt will have our ability to look into this, plus any further actions that might need to be taken, so we can, you know, try to help correct some of this.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much.
Just out of curiosity, in Bibb County, do y'all require, well, you don't have private leagues that run your Parks and Rec?
Run by the Rec League. I will say, Chairman, that you can go onto any social media site and see all of it played out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not good for us. I mean, I think when it talks about our responsibility and our authority and responsibility to the Recreation League in Jones County is to provide these children with the learning, the teaching, and everything that goes along with that. And if we're having negative results from something that's going on with that board, not only do we have the authority, I think we have the obligation to investigate that and make sure that it's not happening in any negative manner, shedding any negative light on our recreation department. I understand these boards are volunteers, and I understand that most of the parents are passionate, and there's always two sides to a story. But when we've been put on notice and we've given, I think we need to do our due diligence and investigate what's going on. As a sidebar, we had an advisory board, and I talked about Commissioner Pitts about it. I was on that as a result of being elected. We've got a vacant position on that board, so it's not able to be as active as we need it to be. I think we need to revive that board back up and start meeting on a regular basis. And because we had some things in process at that time to ask the board to report a little bit, each board, whether it's baseball, football, whatever, to bring a little bit more of that information to us so we can be involved with it, because ultimately we are responsible for the recreation leagues. We do allow them at no cost to operate these programs in the best interest of Jones County. So I think we need to make sure that that happens, whatever that needs to be.
I would echo that. And Sam, I had the privilege of sitting on the football board a couple of years ago when the boards transitioned from that long-standing group to a more newer group. And I remember getting a finance report, and there was only $1,200 transferred. And in the football league, that's almost impossible. The Gray Bowl generates, $12,000, $15,000 just that weekend, and that's the last event typically of the football season. And $1,200 came up, and I remember being in shock, going, "That's not possible when 400 plus kids are paying $100 a piece to play football." And we still have to buy some other equipment as parents. So I would want some financial accountability, a report that comes up to Matt, and then definitely to our finance department, even if we just put it in a folder and say, all right, we have this, so there's some level of accountability. I don't want to check every little spending dollar that they make and have them report that, but I do want some accountability. We watched what happened in Warner Robins with that particular league, much bigger dollars, but I think it was a year or two ago where almost, a few $100,000 went missing. And we have that potential here in the county. With regard to the very situation that happened 2 years ago, our coach had the winningest record in the league, and a board member was named as the all-star coach. So that does happen. There needs to be a review of the bylaws, and I did ask Matt, and he shared some with me, because in some of the bylaws, they can actually vote a board member to be the all-star coach and circumvent the normal method that happens. Whoever has the winningest record is normally the all-star coach.
Commissioner Kitchens, you want to start off our commissioner comments? Are you through?
Yeah, I'm through with that. I'm starting. I think with I just like to say a little something on for Veterans Day is coming up, and I'd like to personally thank all the veterans, my dad included. They're the reason we're able to do what we do each and every day, and the freedoms that we have. And there was a saying that it's actually in D.C. on a monument that talks about what a veteran is. And it says that it's actually someone who wrote a blank check to the United States of America in an amount up to and including their life for our freedoms. And I don't think that's there's a debt of gratitude that we owe them that can never be repaid. But we should thank them and respect them and honor them every day, because right now it seems like our freedoms are being challenged just about every day in different ways. And if it wasn't for people that stepped up and stood up, where would we be? So thank you to all of them.
Thank you, Commissioner Pitt.
Just to echo what Commissioner Kitchens mentioned, I want to thank the veterans for everything that they've done, as we appreciate them on the 11th coming up. Thank our employees on the 9th for the employee appreciation that's going on. I want to give the board an update that the Inclusive Playground Committee, we did meet last night. Great input, came up with a pretty good plan. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll come up with a board with a request for proposal to find out what we can get for the money that we have raised and have been awarded through different grants and other in-kind donations. So like I said, hopefully in a couple of weeks we make that presentation, and you guys will see what we're doing, and hopefully we can get turn to some dirt real soon. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Robinson.
I won't be able to attend the Employee Appreciation Day, but I do want to extend my gratitude to all the employees and staff members and everyone on behalf of the taxpayers also. Thank you.
Mr. Martin?
ACCG started a campaign a couple years ago, and it basically said, "You are why we're here." And that applies directly to our vets. You are why we're here. Thank you for your service. Had an uncle that did 22 years, Vietnam and Korean War. And it was intense, how he came home. It's real, what they go through. It's real, the sacrifice that they make. And we ought to honor them as often as we can. To our employees, same level of respect, because again, you're why we're here. Without you, we couldn't get here. No roads. There'd definitely be no parks and rec. There'd be no water in our district. We went a few days, Irma humbled us. We went a few days without some of those pleasantries that we enjoy. And it's a direct response to what you guys do. And I appreciate it. Sports leagues, big deal in our county. Sports are important. Football is important. And we got to really look into it and work on it. Track is one of those other important leagues that our kids really thrive in. And I'm going to encourage this body to look at what not only the voters voted on, but what this body voted on and what we paid for in terms of plans and studies to put tracks on 49 and follow through on that. Plan says January 2016, which means that the other board actually approved it, and we need to facilitate it, break ground, and get a track ready for next season. It's not just Parks and Recs, it's our high school teams that thrive. Roads are important, and I'm glad that we're going by policy. Thank you, Sam, for getting us back on track. It's important that this board also does the transparent things and follows the protocol. Business as usual should be the business that we're supposed to do. And I'm happy that we're being held accountable to that. And I'm happy that our watchdogs are back in the country. Appreciate y'all. I'm happy that many have made a safe trip and journey to where they're going. And citizens come out, be engaged, and make a difference. Thank you.
Mr. Risner, I didn't give you opportunity a while ago. I didn't know if you wanted to comment or anything. You did a good job with Public Works. I didn't know if you had anything additional you wanted to bring.
I appreciate that. One thing I just thought of is y'all were making your comments. This Saturday is the Veterans Day ceremony at the Civic Center. Part of that will be the renaming of the bypasses, Veterans Memorial Parkway, which is something this board approved sometime back, and we were able to work through the legislative process with Representative Susan Holmes, and so as part of their ceremony on Saturday, they're going to do the bridge naming there, where they'll unveil the signs.
And it starts off with a 5K run if one of y'all like to get your first run.
And that starts at the Knox Center, or they're going to start it at the bypass?
They're going to do everything at the Knox Center. And the signs should be unveiled during the ceremony. That was our previous experience, and that's our understanding of what will happen there.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. This time we've got citizen comments. Anybody like to come forward and speak?
No, I just want to everybody please keep Charles Cook in their prayers. He went through some medical difficulties, and I think he's on the road to recovery. Is that correct? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Pray for him.
Just maybe like come forward. You just give me your name and address for the record.
I don't know. My name is Kelly Neal, and I live at 1525 Austin Drive. And I just wanted to give you a card for saying thank you for keeping the 49 Rec Center open. It's been fantastic. I mean, it's keeping the kids out of trouble. It's a safe place to go. They get exercise. They stay off those stupid tablets, and they get
I think, didn't I talk to you on the phone also?
Yes.
Were you talking about a place to walk also? Were you the young lady was making mention about you didn't really have an area in your side of the county to walk? Like,
oh, that was not me.
Okay, well I remember talking to several. I bet I've had 20 plus calls on that.
Oh, but that would be great.
Right.
I'm gonna throw that in. But anyway, not all of the kids, but a lot of them signed the card. And anyway, it's just been really positive. But thank you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the donuts too.
Spell your last name. Neal. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much.
Just to let y'all know, we've got some leadership Jones County folks here tonight. We'll be graduating in December. And
so you please stand.
I want to
You didn't know you were coming to a long meeting.
Stand up so I can.
I think y'all supposed to come up at this point and give a speech, right?
I'm sure Mr. Wright can talk all night.
We appreciate y'all being here. Anybody else? Anybody else like to come forward? All right, at this time we need a motion to adjourn and go into executive session for personnel and land acquisition.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion on favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank everybody for coming.
Thank you.
All right, let me get all this done. Let me get Tim taken care of.